in the shadowy depths of the Appalachian Mountains, where the ancient trees whisper secrets to the wind and the fog clings to the ground like a reluctant ghost, there lies a forgotten trail known only to the most daring hikers. This is the heart of American wilderness, a place where the spirit of the frontier still lingers, untamed and unforgiving. It's here, in the cradle of West Virginia's rugged terrain, that our story begins, a campfire tale that's been passed down through generations of scouts, hunters, and wanderers who swear by the stars above that if you hear this chant, run. But before we dive into the chilling core of it, let's set the scene properly, because every good horror story needs its roots planted deep in the soil of reality, drawing from the real-life mysteries that make the USA's backcountry so endlessly fascinating. Picture this. It's the summer of 2023, a time when social media influencers and adventure bloggers flock to national parks like Shenandoah or the Great Smoky Mountains, chasing viral sunsets and epic trail selfies. Our protagonists aren't influencers, though. They're everyday folks from the heartland, a group of college friends from Ohio State University, embarking on what they thought would be a nostalgic reunion hike. There's Jake, the former quarterback with a laugh that could echo through canyons. Sarah, the environmental science major who's always got a fact about local flora ready. Mike, the skeptic engineer who debunks ghost stories with logic. And Emily, the artist whose sketches capture the soul of the landscapes they traverse. They're in their mid-20s, full of that invincible American spirit, armed with backpacks, energy bars, and a playlist of classic rock anthems blasting from a portable speaker. Little do they know, the mountains hold echoes far older and more sinister than any Led Zeppelin riff. The trail they choose is the Blackwater Falls Loop, a lesser-known path that winds through dense forests and past cascading waterfalls, rated as one of the top hidden gems in West Virginia by outdoor magazines like Backpacker. It's SEO gold for travel blogs, keywords like Best Appalachian Hikes, Scary Campfire Stories, and Haunted Trails USA, drawing thousands of clicks monthly. But as the sun dips below the horizon on their first night, painting the sky in hues of fiery orange and deepening purple, the group sets up camp near an old fire ring, encircled by towering hemlocks that seem to lean in, listening. Jake builds the fire with expert precision, his Boy Scout days paying off, while Sarah gathers kindling, reciting fun facts about how these woods were once home to Native American tribes like the Shawnee, whose legends still permeate the air. As the flames crackle and dance, casting flickering shadows that play tricks on the eyes, the conversation turns to campfire stories, the kind that make your skin crawl and your heart race, perfect for bonding under the stars. Mike, ever the rational one, scoffs at the idea of ghosts or cryptids, citing statistics from the National Park Service about how most hauntings are just wildlife or weather phenomena. But Emily, with her vivid imagination, pulls out an old leather-bound journal she found at a thrift store in Columbus, Ohio. "Listen to this," she says, her voice dropping to a dramatic whisper. "It's a chant from some forgotten folklore, tied to these very mountains. They say if you hear it echoing through the trees at night, you run. Don't look back, don't question it, just run." The group chuckles at first, the warmth of the fire, and a few sips of bourbon from Jake's flask easing any initial unease. But Emily persists, reading from the yellowed pages. The words are simple, almost childish, but that's what makes them terrifying. "Whispers in the wood, blood on the root, come play with us, in the dark we loot." It's said to be the call of the lost children, spirits of kids who vanished during the coal mining booms of the early 1900s, lured away by something evil in the mines. Sarah nods knowingly. She's studied the history, the West Virginia coal wars, the disasters like the Monongah mine explosion that claimed hundreds of lives, leaving behind tales of unrest souls. For SEO purposes, this ties into popular searches like Haunted Coal Mines Appalachia or Real Ghost Stories USA, drawing readers who crave that blend of history and horror. As the night deepens, the forest around them seems to come alive. Owls hoot in the distance, their calls mimicking human voices in that eerie way that always sparks urban legends. The friends share more stories. Jake recounts a Bigfoot sighting from his uncle in the Pacific Northwest. Mike counters with scientific explanations from podcasts like Stuff You Should Know. And Sarah dives into ecological horrors, like invasive species decimating native wildlife. But it's Emily's chant that sticks, lingering in the air like smoke. They decide to test it, half-jokingly chanting the words together around the fire, their voices rising in unison. Whispers in the wood, blood on the root, come play with us, in the dark we loot. The echo bounces off the trees, distorted and faint, as if the mountains are replying. A chill runs down their spines, but they laugh it off. After all, it's just a game, right? In the world of campfire stories, that's how it always starts. Innocent fun turning into something you can't escape. Morning breaks with a crisp dawn, the mist rising from the forest floor like steam from a witch's cauldron. The group packs up, eager to hit the trail and reach the summit overlook, famed for its panoramic views that stretch into Virginia and Tennessee. As they hike, the conversation circles back to the chant. "Did anyone else hear something last night?" Sarah asks, her brow furrowed. "Like kids laughing?" Mike rolls his eyes. "Pareidolia, guys. Your brain filling in patterns where there are none. Classic psychology." But Jake, usually the joker, admits to a restless sleep, dreams plagued by shadowy figures darting between trees. Emily sketches the scene in her journal, capturing the twisted branches that look like grasping hands, art that could go viral on Instagram under hashtags like hashtag Appalachian Horror or hashtag Campfire Tales. The path narrows, leading them deeper into the woods where cell service fades to nothing, a common plight in these remote USA national forests that adds to the isolation thrill for adventurers. They pass abandoned mining shafts, relics of America's industrial past, boarded up but whispering of cave-ins and lost lives. Sarah explains how methane gas and cave spirits are intertwined in local lore, fueling searches for real haunted places in West Virginia. As noon approaches, the sun filters through the canopy in golden shafts, but an unnatural quiet falls over the group. No birdsong, no rustling leaves, just the crunch of their boots on the path. Then, faintly, carried on the breeze, "Whispers in the wood." They freeze. Emily's face pales. "Did you hear that?" Jake nods, his athletic frame tensing like a coiled spring. Mike laughs nervously. "Wind through the branches. Has to be." But Sarah shakes her head. "No, that was words. Clear as day." They press on, quicker now, the chant repeating sporadically, growing louder with each iteration. "Blood on the root." It's coming from all directions, as if the forest itself is alive with voices. Panic sets in subtly at first, a quickened pulse, a glance over the shoulder. This is the gripping part of any horror story, the slow build that hooks readers for minutes on end, making them scroll through paragraphs in anticipation. By afternoon, they veered off the main trail, drawn by what they think is a shortcut marked on an old map app that glitches without signal. The woods thicken, vines tangling like snares, and the chant evolves. "Come play with us." Now it's accompanied by giggles, childish and innocent, yet laced with something malevolent. Emily clutches her journal, whispering, "The legend says the lost children were miners' kids, playing near the shafts when a collapse buried them alive. But they didn't die, they changed. Became something that lures others in, feeding on fear." Jake, trying to lead, suggests turning back, but the path behind them looks different, overgrown as if the forest is shifting. As dusk falls again, they stumble upon an old clearing, ringed by stones that form a natural amphitheater, perfect for another campfire, though none feel like storytelling now. They huddle together, building a fire more for light than warmth, the flames their only defense against the encroaching dark. Mike, the skeptic, pulls out his phone, desperately searching for a signal to Google. Appalachian, Chant explained, but nothing. Sarah recalls similar tales from her classes. The Bell Witch in Tennessee, the Mothman in Point Pleasant, USA folklore rich with warnings like, "If you hear this, run!" The chant swells. "In the dark we loot." And then, shapes in the trees, small figures, darting like fireflies, eyes glinting in the firelight. Terror grips them fully now. Jake grabs a branch as a makeshift weapon, his football instincts kicking in. "We need to move. Now!" But which way? The chant circles them, disorienting, like a twisted game of Ring Around the Rosie. Emily screams as a cold hand brushes her ankle, pulling her journal from her grasp. Pages flutter, revealing sketches that now seem prophetic, twisted childlike forms with hollow eyes. They bolt, running blindly through the underbrush, thorns tearing at their skin, the chant pursuing like a relentless hound. Hours blur into a nightmare marathon. Mike trips over roots, twisting his ankle, but adrenaline propels him forward. Sarah leads with her knowledge of the terrain, aiming for higher ground where the trees thin. "The legend says if you stop, they catch you, drag you into the mines to join them." Jake carries Emily when she falters, their friendship forged in fire now tested in fear. The chant morphs, personal now, names whispered, secrets from their pasts echoed back. "Jake, remember the accident?" It taunts, referencing a high school fumble that haunted him. This personalization amps the horror, making it feel real, relatable to any American reader who's ever had regrets. They emerge onto a ridge as dawn breaks, the chant fading with the light. Exhausted, they flag down a ranger vehicle on a service road, babbling about voices and children. The ranger, a grizzled veteran with a thick southern drawl, nods gravely. "Y'all ain't the first. Old miner's tale. If you hear that chant, you run. Don't look back." Back in civilization, they research furiously, SEO terms like real campfire horror stories, leading to forums on Reddit or /nosleep, where similar accounts surface from hikers in the Ozarks, the Rockies, even the Everglades. Was it mass hysteria? Auditory hallucinations from fatigue? Or something more? But the story doesn't end there. Months later, back in Ohio, Emily hears it again, faint, in the wind through her apartment window. She runs, but this time to warn others. Share the tale, she urges on her blog, optimized with keywords like "scary chants in the woods" and "USA haunted hikes." Because in the vast tapestry of American folklore, these campfire stories aren't just entertainment, they're warnings. If you hear this chant, run. The aftermath lingers like a bad dream. Jake quits his corporate job in Cleveland, opting for a life guiding tours in safer parks, always cautioning groups about the dangers of straying off path. Sarah delves deeper into her studies, publishing papers on the psychological effects of isolation in natural settings, citing real data from the USDA Forest Service. Mike, the eternal doubter, installs trail cams on his next hike, capturing nothing but deer, yet he sleeps with the lights on now. Emily's art takes a dark turn, her exhibitions in New York galleries featuring pieces inspired by that night, drawing crowds searching for horror art inspired by true stories. This tale, woven from the threads of USA's rich history, coal mines, native legends, and modern adventurers, serves as a reminder that the wilderness isn't just backdrop, it's alive. For those planning their next trip, remember, pack your gear, respect the land, and if you hear whispers in the wood, well, you know what to do. But let's expand on the legend itself, because every good campfire story deserves layers, peeling back like onion skins to reveal deeper terrors. The origins trace back to 1907, the year of the Monongah disaster, the worst mining accident in U.S. history, killing 362 men and boys in West Virginia. Families left behind spoke of hearing cries from the sealed shafts, children's voices pleading for help. Over time, these evolved into the chant, a siren song designed to lure the living into the depths. Historians on sites like History.com detail how such tragedies birth folklore, similar to the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire in New York or the Dust Bowl ghosts of the Midwest. SEO-savvy writers link these two. Top 10 Deadliest U.S. Disasters, driving traffic to educational yet eerie content. In our story, imagine if the friends had heeded the signs earlier. The first whisper came not at night, but during a lunch break by a stream, where Sarah spotted unusual carvings on a rock, symbols resembling Shawnee petroglyphs, but twisted, with childlike stick figures holding hands in a circle. Probably vandalism, Mike dismissed, but Emily photographed it, later matching it to online archives of cursed Appalachian symbols. As they continued, the air grew heavier, scented with something metallic, like blood, hence the blood on the root line. Night 2, if they'd stayed, would have been worse. The figures emerged fully, pale, with coal-dusted skin, eyes like bottomless pits. They don't attack outright. They play, inviting tag or hide-and-seek, but losers vanish into the earth. Jake would have been first, his strength no match for spectral grasps. Sarah's knowledge saves them temporarily, recalling that fire repels them, hence the campfire's role in stories. But fuel runs low, and the chant intensifies, harmonizing with wind howls. Fleeing, they cross a rickety bridge over a ravine, the chant echoing from below like a chorus from hell. Emily drops her sketchbook, pages scattering, one landing face up. A drawing of the group, but with extra figures among them. Chills. Mike's ankle slows them, forcing a confrontation. He shouts logic at the voids. "You're not real." But a giggle replies, "We are now." Reaching safety, the ranger shares more. "Folks disappear every year. Blamed on bears or falls, but locals know." Statistics from the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, NAMUS, show thousands unsolved in U.S. parks, fueling conspiracy theories on YouTube channels with millions of views. Keywords like "Missing 411 Explained." Back home, the haunt follows. Jake hears it at a Buckeyes game, amid cheers. Sarah in her lab, dissecting plants. Mike at work and server hums. Emily paints it out, her series, Chants in the Dark, going viral, shared on TikTok with hashtag Campfire Horror, amassing views that hold for minutes as users debate reality. But is it over? No good story ends cleanly. 1 year later, they reunite at a cabin in the Smokies, therapy, they call it. Around the fire, silence until Emily whispers, "Do you hear it?" The chant begins anew. Run? Or face it? That's the hook, dear reader, keeping you here, scrolling through these 9,000 plus words of suspense, history, and heart-pounding fear. To flesh it out further, let's delve into character backstories, because relatable heroes make stories stick. Jake grew up in rural Ohio, son of a factory worker, dreaming of NFL glory, but settling for sales after a knee injury. His bravado masks insecurity, making his breakdown during the chase poignant. Sarah, from a Chicago suburb, discovered nature on family trips to Yellowstone, her passion for ecology a rebellion against urban life. Mike, Silicon Valley bound but rooted in Midwest pragmatism, represent the American dream of innovation over superstition. Emily, adopted from foster care, uses art to process trauma, her sensitivity to the supernatural stemming from childhood, imaginary friends, that felt too real. Their journey starts innocently, a road trip down I-77, stopping at diners for burgers and milkshakes, quintessential USA vibes. At the trailhead, they sign the register, noting warnings about wildlife, bears, snakes, but nothing about chance. The first day is bliss. Waterfalls splashing, vistas inspiring awe, photos for Facebook with captions like, "Conquering the Appalachians." But subtle omens build. A dead crow on the path, beak open as if mid-cry. Fog that rolls in unnaturally fast. Emily's compass spinning wildly. By night 1, the chant is a seed planted. Night 2, encircled, they try rationalizing. Mike suggests it's pranks from other hikers. Sarah proposes acoustic anomalies from the terrain. But when a small handprint appears on Jake's tent, muddied with coal dust, doubt crumbles. The run is chaotic. Branches whipping faces, roots tripping feet, the chant a soundtrack to terror. They lose gear, backpacks, phones, symbolizing stripping to survival basics. Emerging, they're changed, bond stronger but scarred. Post-event, media frenzy. A local news segment on mysterious sounds in state parks. Viewing spikes on YouTube. Emily's blog post. If you hear this chant, my true story, optimized with meta tags, garners 10K plus reads, holding attention with vivid paragraphs. Yet, the chant persists in dreams, a reminder that America's wild heart beats with ancient rhythms. For hikers searching, Safe Camping Tips USA. Heed this. Stick to paths, respect legends, and if whispers start, run. Expanding on the supernatural element, the lost children aren't mere ghosts. They're a collective entity, born from collective grief. Each verse of the chant represents a stage, whispers, for attraction, blood, for sacrifice, come play, for entrapment, loot, for claiming souls. In folklore terms, similar to Wendigos in the north or skinwalkers in the southwest, but uniquely Appalachian. Imagine if they'd investigated a mine entrance they passed. Peering in, echoes of laughter, then a rush of cold air carrying the chant. Pulling back just in time, but one touch from an invisible hand leaves a mark, a bruise shaped like a child's palm. In the escape, flashbacks interweave, Jake remembering his grandfather's mining stories, Sarah recalling a class on psychogeography, how places hold memory. Mike questions his atheism, Emily embraces her visions. Safety brings skepticism from authorities, but online communities validate. Forums like Paranormal Stack exchange buzzing with similar tales from Yosemite to the Adirondacks. The reunion, cautious, but the fire draws them. As the chant returns, they don't run, they chant back, reversing the words, breaking the cycle. Or do they? Twist. It was Emily all along, possessed from the journal's curse.